I crashed planet Onav, hostile planet full of deadly biters. My main objective now is to survive long enough to build a rocket and fly away. However, native bugs of this planet won't let me do it without a fight. They are smarter. Are they flanking me? Stronger. What on earth is this? And more powerful. Wait, was that a nuke? I have to mine resources, process them, and use those to build the factory. Biters are constantly evolving, so I better be quick. Can I survive this nightmare and solve mysteries of this ancient structure in this world? Stick to the end to find out. Also, I spent more than 200 hours making this video, so if you end up enjoying the content, consider changing this 21.9% into 22. Thank you and enjoy it. Day 1. Our spaceship was hit by a huge asteroid, which forced us to emergency landing in a multiple pieces at once. Luckily, I survived. After a quick look at the planet, I can say that Nauvis is not very pleasant to live in. Huge lasers from the sky can definitely make living here difficult. I might spend few hours on this planet, so I started by building miners on stone. Iron would also be helpful to fix the ship, so I also placed a few miners. Nearby trees will fuel everything for the time being. Also, harvesting them with bots is so easy. Day 2. Everything is destroyed. I will spend more time here than I was expecting. It will be a journey. So, I set up copper miners and coal miners, because we'll need a lot of resources now. I spent the rest of this day by setting up even more miners, because tomorrow I will start making science. I heard weird noises during the night. Even so, I am alone on this planet. But it doesn't matter. To build science, I just need 6 crafting machines, feeding each other. It's very simple build. It's also a good time to automate iron harvesting with few belts. With automated iron, next task is to build crafting machines, which will make me even more belts. Day 4. I was wrong. Seems like this planet is occupied by some kind of huge bugs. I spent this whole day fighting with them, but I hope they will not be a problem in the future. Day 5. In the morning, I reorganized my base a bit to make it more efficient. Then I decided to walk around and explore this planet more, because now I don't know what to expect. It was a good decision because I found old solar panels. It's probably some trash from the space, but for me it will be useful. My base is growing nicely. It will be sad to leave this planet in a few days. To fuel my ship, I need something better than coal. This machine will take any source of heat and turn it into chemical fuel. It will definitely make my life easier. Day 6. My neighbors are more annoying than mosquitoes, so I had to talk with them about my planet. It's also time to harvest big iron patch. I don't have electricity yet, so I have to use burner drills. Luckily, bots make everything very easy to build. With this amount of iron, it's time to build a smelting column. I need to spend some time designing it, so I can reuse it later to build more smelting columns. My engineering heart is happy when I look at something like this. Next, I have to build main belt, crafting station for engines, and make way more bullets to talk with my friends. Day 7. Bullets are indeed very handy on this planet. Wall is necessary to survive. Also, few turrets to defend it should do the job. Okay, to be honest, I spent literally this whole day just building the wall around my base. I want to be safe. Day 8. It's a perfect time to test my bullets. So, out of talking, negotiations and making friends. Day 9 I spent in my base making motors production and rebuilding factory. Because of those changes, I have to improve my electricity production with those boilers. But first, they need coal, so I removed my old coal miners and changed those to electric ones. To make the most out of this coal, I process it in the fuel processor for the extra 10% of energy. Now connect everything and power is done. Those biters have bigger range than my turrets. So, the whole day 10 was simply wasted on fixing walls and repairing turrets around the base. In day 11, I focused on taking over this huge coal patch. I had to build wall around it, remove my old walls and supply everything with ammunition. However, it was worth it, because now we have more space for the base. I started day 12 by planning mining drills production in Helmut. Some gears, engines, different blue engines and radios. Yeah, I can do it. So let's build this, that, a little bit of those and it's done. We are making mining drills. Day 13. We are running low on copper production, so it would be nice to get this copper to expand. But for now, I have to work with what I have. First, I will remove miners from stone patch and from copper patch. I will also take down those old crafters since we don't need them anymore. And now we can place electric miners on copper. At day 14, I was still placing miners, this time on coal.
Oh my god, that's horrifying.
I also rebuilt my coal reprocessing plant because we need more supply. With new miners, it's time to build a copper smelter. Luckily, we have a blueprint, so let's place all the furnaces, connect the belts, and copper is running. Day 15 started with some talking, negotiations, and exporting of lead bullets. During exploration, I also find a car, so I cleared the stuff around it, then I tried to run it, and it's working. Now I can travel faster and bump into everything. Day 16 and 17. More electricity is always good, so thanks to bot we can have an awesome power plant in no time. Also, attacks of biters escalates quickly, so I have to build faster. This is why I have to invest in the green science to push research forward. Let's make building it fast. Now it's time for the red science. However, I can just quickly copy and paste green science setup and tweak some stuff to make it work. With all crafters built, I can finally connect belts and place the labs. At the end, I can pick useful technologies to research. Of course, I also have to handcraft more labs. Yeah, handcrafting is awesome. I started day 18 with some exploring. You know, I cannot miss those rocks. I'm taking them home. On the desert, I found something even better than rocks. Old refinery will be useful when I find some oil. And this is the old nuclear reactor, which doesn't seem to work, but at least I can take the turbines. Rest of the day I spent upgrading burner assemblers to electric. I think it's already time for it. Day 19 has passed by trying to survive. Attacks are becoming massive and constant, so I have to upgrade my defenses. This amount of turrets should do the job. I also started crafting walls, because I will need those in the future. It's been 20 days since I trusted Mattia piloting the ship. Are you sure it's the best path? There are rocks flying everywhere.
100%. Just trust me, this is the best shortcut.
What was that?
Chill out, it was some small asteroids. As long as they are not big, we are fine.
Yeah, the shortcut. Now I have to survive here, but I realized that the best defense on this planet is attack, so I attacked. Thanks to the gun turret's push strategy, I was able to take over oil field, which will fuel my flamethrowers in the future. But to defend this field, I have to build the ultimate wall. It's a simple design, but it's so big that it took me 2 days to build. But at least I am safe. I hope at least. Day 23. Wall is holding nicely, so I can focus on blue science. They only need red circuits and engines, so it's easy to do. First, I need to improve green circuit production. It's extra hard because new recipe require wood for crafting, but I can deal with it. Okay, wall is not holding nicely, so I'm switching my plans to military science. Auto crafters for grenades will be useful, and they are easy to do. This is a temporary military science production, but I just need it right now. Day 24. I'm back on blue science plans, so I have to build a steel production for the engines. It's just pasting a blueprint, so it's not gonna take too much time. Since I'm already building smelters, I will also build a glass smelter. It just needs crushed stone and it's done. Oil is a must-have for the red circuits, so I have to Americanize it. Since I already have oil, I can also use it in my flamethrowers. I think trees and fire is not very good combination, so I cleared forest around my walls. Day 25. Flamethrowers are helpful in defenses, but look at this. Every single dot is a base. They are literally building better factories than I do. I tried to build another wall on the east side, but there are biters all over the place. Cleaning those bases doesn't help, because they are growing faster than inflation. So at day 26 I built some solars to reduce my pollution production. Then I quickly drive to I drive to my oil outpost to build refinery and produce more pollution. It sounds stupid, but I need it. Here I'm turning oil into petroleum, which is then turned into sulfur in those chemical plants. Now I just need to connect everything and I'm done. Yeah, I forgot I also need plastic bars. but luckily I can just redesign my sulfur and now I'm done. Day 27. I need blue science packs as fast as possible, so I'm setting up a temporary red circuits factory. If something looks stupid but works, it's not stupid. By following this strategy, I redesigned it to also produce engines and blue science packs. I'm running low on iron, so I spent the whole day 28 and 29 picking up old burner mining drills and replacing them with electric ones. Now I should have enough iron for many more days. Those biters are more annoying than pineapple on pizza. I have to constantly fight with every single attack to just survive. However, now I have flamethrowers, so I can upgrade my defenses with fire. I can also use it as an offensive weapon to push bases. Yeah, it's awesome. Day 31, I'm starting to build a wall from top to bottom. It will take me a few days, but I need it as fast as possible. Everything starts from planning a perfect design. With flamethrowers, it should be way easier to defend east side of my base. In the meantime, I also have to take care of my main base. It's not easy to keep this east wall alive. I thought it would be way easier. Wall is finally done, however I don't think it's strong enough. Okay, I will put few more turrets and walls to make it even better. I can use this wall to supply my base with oil, because before biters was destroying all the pipes. With this amount of oil in the main base, we can start a little bit of trolling. Day 26. After spending almost a week by building a wall, it's time to come back to science. I can finally deconstruct this ugly refinery and take back all of those resources. I came back to base and we are very close to researching robotics and then construction bots. So we'll stay with this design for a bit longer. Day 27. I have to build another wall. Yeah, luckily now I have a blueprint. So let's do it quickly. Looking fine for me. Day 38. I want to build this refinery quickly, so I will reuse my old ugly blueprint. When we look at science, we are very close to researching bots, so we are on a good path. There is tons of interesting subjects to study, but I think deep core mining is the best out of it. And about refinery, I will build something better later, trust me, but this is what we have for now. Day 39. I have to upgrade this refinery, so let's start by making sulfur. I also have to change batteries production, and let's change the last refinery to produce more various stuff for us. I made some tanks to store those liquids, otherwise everything will be stuck. Heavy oil should be reprocessed into a lubricant, and lubricant into big electric motors. We are advancing a new age of construction bots. From now everything will be easy. I hope it will be easy. Day 40. I want to make the core mining drill, but price for it? It's more than US RTX. So I have to build a concrete crafting station and wait until it makes some concrete. In the meantime, I can finally place my first robots, make automated production of repair packs for my bots, place some access chests for them, put some walls inside, and now we are invincible, because bots will repair everything. I started day 41 by building some explosives. I will use them to make rockets and hopefully clear some nests. Because, like you can see, grenades are not enough to do anything anymore. But the real goal for today is to build a stone miners on the west. I have to start by building an oil pipe for the flamethrowers, otherwise it will be impossible to defend. It's a big amount of stone, but first, you know the drill, let's build a wall. After that, I have to connect electricity to make everything work. With this amount of stone, I can craft the most expensive thing in the universe. Landfill. It's tricky to set up all the miners, but I'm finally done. Day 43. I can connect those stone belts to my base. The stone patch has very unique shape, so I built a belt balancer to, like you can guess, balance the outputs. Now I just have to build a lot of belts to connect everything. Of course, I have to rebuild a part of this wall to make a space for stone. And here I can craft landfill. I hope it will be enough for my needs. Day 44. I will use this landfill to build more space for solar power. But first, I have to make more solar panels. I also have to bring one stone belt to my smelting columns, because otherwise there will be no sand and glass for crafting. This temporary science production is with me for a very long time already, so I think it's already a permanent part of this base. Day 45. I used to handcraft all construction bots. but it's time to automate this production. My temporary permanent production is so great that I will make more of it. I don't know what I will build here, but it will definitely be useful. This assembler is also the very last step to automating robots production. Just look how nicely it's working. Now I have to place robots all over my base and we have bots. Day 46. With new supply of stone to my base, I can start crafting stone tablets. Thanks to them, I can change a recipe for green circuits. Now, instead of using wood, which is impossible to automate, I can use stone tablets. This amount of green circuits should be enough to craft me tons of solar panels. And let me switch to eco-friendly way of making electricity. Day 47. I can remove my bottom wall because the east wall is holding nicely. I will use the construction planner with a special filter to make it quick. Also, I looked at the north wall and situation there isn't perfect. Day 48. I'm getting electricity to the west because there is a huge amount of copper I want to mine. Look at this. I just have to wait. Was it a meteorite? Have you seen that? But back to the work. We have outposts to build. I'm not sure how I should place miners here. Diagonal solution would be the best, but unfortunately I don't have a blueprint, so let's place them vertically. Building is taking some time as always. However, it has to be done. Day 49. For the time being, I need only one belt, but taking it to my base is a pain in the neck. I go through water, then I can put it next to stone belt and finally connect it to my smelting column. With this belt, my base can start working again. Day 50. I should finally automate power poles production. Oh wait, I forgot about something. Okay, now it should work. Also, middle of the main bus is in my opinion the best spot for it. I thought I am fine with the east wall. However, I am far from being fine. I'm constantly losing turrets and walls in this war. Seems like destabilization of those biters regions for oil and resources wasn't the best idea. But who would know it will make them angry. I hope that more force in form of laser turrets will make them silence. Day 51. I'm back in the base connecting glass output with the rest of my base. I want to use those resources to make more solar panels. Pollution production is too big in this base, so I have to place solars from time to time. This chest with resources for construction bots have to be supplied by hand. I will automate this at some point, but yeah, it's good enough right now. Day 52. I'm getting used to the smell of fresh kerosene burned with my enemies in the morning. It is a pleasure to burn, and it is a special pleasure to see them eaten by fire. But I'm running low on resources, so I have to go with more eco-friendly solution. Big field of solar panels should provide me with enough electricity during the day. I'm still mainly relying on steam, but I want to change it as soon as possible. So at day 53 I started my version of 5-year plan. First, I will sacrifice those solars to build solar panels production. It's not easy to craft solar panels because they require 4 ingredients, but with a little bit of spaghetti, everything can be done. And we have an awesome production of green electricity. When I look at my solar panels field, I think my production might not be enough for it, so I have to improve it. It's so easy, just copy and paste a already built design. Oh, I also have to remove those red circuit crafters. So this solar's production should be enough for at least next 100 days. We still kind of struggle with electricity whenever lasers are active, but we are on the good path to minimize pollution production. Day 54. I can finally build a core mining drill. It takes tons of electricity, so I will use switch to make it work only during days, to fully use my solars. This machine is huge, but it will make me a lot of resources, and those resources has to be processed in pulverizer. By the way, it is taking 50 megawatts of electricity, which is an enormous amount. To don't waste its potential, I have to correctly handle all resources, otherwise it will get stuck. So let me build tanks and connect all the belts. I cannot do anything useful with coal and vulcanite yet, so I will put those in the warehouse. It's far from being done, but it's enough for the time being. Day 55. I used similar power switch to turn off my steam engines during days. It basically turned off steam production whenever my accumulators have more than 10% of electricity. This way I can save on pollution production and coal. Talking about coal, I have to remove my permanently temporary production of blue science, because it is built on a coal ore. I want to utilize this space and build more miners, so I don't need to worry about coal for a very long time. Day 56. I want to make a production of American science packs, aka military science packs. I will start by planning everything in the hell mode. First ingredient is a wall. Luckily, I already built walls production, so now I just need to spaghetti them to the production site. It will be easy to do when I remove a main bus from my base. I know this sounds stupid, and it is stupid, but I already removed it, so it doesn't matter. Next, let's take grenades from my kind of temporary grenades production. I will just spaghetti them with walls. The yellow ammo is already here, so I simply need to upgrade it to red bullets. Everything in one place, I can start making assemblers for American science. Now we are crafting science, and the very last step is to connect those bottles with pure freedom to my labs. I almost forget. More connecting equals more spaghetti. I'm looking once more at those crafters, and I'll just double the production, so I don't need to upgrade it later. We are finally done. Day 57. What a beautiful morning. Today I'm gonna build a wall. I need more space on top of my base, and here will be a new line of defenses. It's not easy to push those amount of biters, so it's a speed time. Day 60. I want to start crafting accumulators to also have some electricity during nights. Placing them is not a problem, because bots will do everything. Since I am already in my refinery, I can also make a plastic production, which will be used in red circuit recipe. I built there this temporary production of nothing, and it's time to remove it and use this space for something actually useful. And this is my new permanently temporary production of red circuits. I know you love it. Night 61. Sky become bright for a second. Okay, what the f is this? Those running bottlenecks evolved to some freaking Oppenheimers. Look at this! They just nuked my wall! That's mean. But the answer is of course violence. Day 62. I built a buffer for red ammunition, because I will need it during the next negotiations. It's also a good idea to make a production of medical kits, so I can heal my sanity. After finding a final solution to Biter's problem, I can come back to upgrading my base. I want to automate production of assembling machines, because they are the main component of every factory. Next, a production of long red inserters is something which will definitely be useful in the future. Day 63. More and more research require a blue science packs from me, so I will build a proper engines manufactory. I have to start by building a small engines first. Another step is a factory of gears. I'm still planning everything, so I will only place ghosts. Next, I have to plan the factory of big engines themselves, so it will look like this. Now it's time to connect all the belts with the resources, so big engines are working, but I have to make them even bigger, because they are suspiciously slow. Oh wait, I forgot to connect steel. Now they should work fine. Last step is to build output, and engines are done. You know what? I will also build a temporary factory of blue science, because why not? We kind of need them. Day 64. I used this refinery for way too long. This is why I will rebuild it today. This simple blueprint has only inputs and outputs, so it will be a backbone of my oil processing. Few tanks are a good indicator of what is bottlenecking in your system. Of course, there is also a lot of pipes connecting going on. To prevent bottlenecking by light oil, I have to build a cracking station which will transform light oil into petroleum. It's necessary part of every refinery. Different necessary part is a cracking station which will transform heavy oil into light oil. I know that I'm making heavy oil to make light oil, to make petroleum oil. This is just how it works. Day 64. I improved my refinery, so I can build a huge production of red circuits. Everything of course starts from a planning session. Next, I'm placing a few assemblers to make a design. When it's ready, I can just copy and paste it a few times to make it bigger. To make red circuits, I also need a small production of copper wires. Luckily, copper belt is nearby, so building it is easy. Then I have to connect green circuits and set up a recipe for copper wires. The last step is to connect plastic production and make output of red circuits to some chest buffer. Day 66. I crafted a jetpack, and it's the very first time of me trying to fly with it. Yeah, it's great. It's so awesome that I will fly for some exploring. Oh, its old refinery. I will grab a few chemical plants because they're always useful. I'm back in the base, so I can come back to automating blue science. Sulfur is the last missing ingredient, so I'll just copy those chemical plants and change them into sulfur production. I just need to change the recipe and change bottom pipes into inserters. Those temporary constructions served me well in the past days, but it's time to remove it. To produce blue bottles, I can simply copy engines crafters, connect already prepare input and connect output to my labs. Last step is building the blueprint and changing the recipe to science. So it's finally built. Day 67. I want to use electric boilers to build my own version of pump storage power plant, but with steam. It will take some space, so I have to prepare this area with landfill. First machine is a water pump with output going directly to electric boilers. Generate steam in boilers has to be stored somewhere. This is why tanks are another necessary part of this installation. I don't know what is the optimal temperature of steam, so I have to do a little bit of testing. Turns out 500 Celsius degree is the best temperature for steam, or 773.15 kelvins. I don't know why Americans still use their measurement system. Day 68. Back to the project. I will again make power switch which will turn on those boilers only when I have more than enough electricity production, so during the day. To utilize the steam during nights I have to place a whole lot of steam engines. Another thing is a logic behind turning them on and off. I want to make them work only during nights, when my solar fields doesn't produce electricity, and charge them during days, when I have too much electricity. Okay, this should work. To stabilize the whole system, I have to place a few accumulators and now everything is done. Day 69. Nice. Let's start by building a cliff explosive production. But I want to focus on rebuilding science labs, because my current setup cannot support more than 4 science packs. First, I have to prepare terrain by removing those solar panels. Then I can remove my old science labs. I will use blueprint which I stole from some old tips and tricks video made by Trupen. He was using blue belts, so I have to downgrade them with upgrade planner. Now is the spaghetti time to connect all the science packs. Labs already work, but more is always better, so I'll just copy and paste them for even faster research. Everything is done. What a beautiful design. Day 70. To grow this factory more, I have to make a production of furnaces. Recipe for an electric furnace starts with steel furnace, which needs a stone furnace. Yeah, it requires some messing around, but it's necessary for production science packs. In the meantime, I have to check how is the barbecue going on my north wall. Seems fine. So standard operation. Clearing a terrain, copying a blueprint, building and changing a recipe to electric furnaces, and it's done. Rest of the day I spent simply flying around with a jetpack and upgrading all the belts and furnaces to increase overall production of this base. Day 71. Deep core mining drill produced more resources than I expected, so I have to upgrade overall production here. First, let's remove random belts lying around the core miner. Next, I have to build more crushing facilities and connect them with belts. It's also important to connect output pipes, otherwise they'll get stuck in the future. I'm producing so much resources that I have to build another warehouse to fit everything inside. There is a small yield of uranium, so I can reprocess it on the spot with a centrifuge I found somewhere in the world. Reprocessing of coal is also a good idea, so let's also build it. Day 72. I still struggle with deep core mining, because I have to somehow force a priority of deep mined ores to my system. I thought splitters would do the job, but it's not that easy, so I had to use some circuit logic and now everything should go smoothly. Even so this warehouse is bigger than the public debt, it will get stuck at some point with vulcanite, so I have to somehow process this weird ore. Let's put it on the belts to have more space and build a pulverizer. First step of reprocessing is pulverizing. Then I have to wash it with water. Washing is done in chemical plants, and luckily I have water nearby. Byproduct of washing is steam. This is why I have to build this small steam power plant to deal with it. Finally, clean vulcanite can be squared, and then it can be used in smelters to increase their productivity. Oh, I forgot about another byproduct, which is stone, but it's easy to fix with 2 filter inserters. Day 73. My factory of electric furnaces wasn't working because I haven't supplied it with heat shields. Like always, I'll just copy existing blueprint for this project. To produce heat shields, I need to use stone tablets, and to craft them, I first need stone. With stone on the spot, next step is to smelt it into bricks. I will use them later. Previous location of assembling machines wasn't perfect, so I change it and connect stone tablets belt. Another necessary ingredient is sulfur, so I can quickly build a production and even quicker deconstruct it, because there is already a sulfur belt few meters away. I am alone on this planet, which makes me the most stupid person here, and I can feel it in moments like this. Now I can connect this with a belt. Oh, I also need steel, but luckily it's pretty close by. Stone tablets are very simple to craft, just smelted bricks and that's all. Electric furnaces are done, and it's good because we'll need them to craft purple science. I started day 74 by upgrading my pumped storage power plant with a new set of steam turbines. By looking at the graphs, I can tell it's not enough and it's not gonna help, but who cares? I will leave this problem for future me. And problem for current me is a production of green big electric motors. I have a small production of small electric motors and even small production of big electric motors, but the size of it is cringe at this point, so it has to grow. Day 75. I'm still working on the motors. Now I have to work with refinery to produce more lubricant. Also, after so many days alone, I started making a list of people I used to know. I still have to write down those patrons who financed this whole space exploration trip, but I will do it later. New space will be transformed into loop factory. Now I just have to connect pipes, some belts, and green motors are done. Day 76. This copper mine was doing almost nothing for the last 28 days, so it's time to use it. Luckily, I can simply copy and paste the stone smelters like code from Stack Overflow. I built the furnaces, and while placing raw ports, I realized that electricity doesn't work too good. One pump is not connected, but after repairing, it's still not enough to survive the night. So I have to spend the whole day 77 placing more accumulators and solar panels to fix this problem. Day 78. Electricity problem is not fixed. My steam storage is simply too small for the size of my factory. I need to place more electric boilers to capture the daylight electricity. Also, more tank storage to somehow store the steam. And to use it effectively during future nights, I have to improve power plant itself. More steam turbines should do the job. Day 79. I was using copper from a main base to produce red circuits, but since I have another, better source, I have to change the input of copper wires. All robots in this factory was handcrafted by me, because crafting recipe is a bit tricky, but it's time to make an automated crafter for it. With a new production of robots, I can finally expand the solar field. I hope this will be enough to keep deep core mining drill even during the nights. Also, I have a lot of vulcanite, so I will need to do something with it in the future. Day 80. I'm starting to consume more and more red circuits, so I have to improve the production of their main ingredient, plastic. Plastic bars are made in chemical plants, and they need a constant supply of coal and petroleum. It's probably too many machines for now, but it's always better to build too much than not enough. My main source of iron is running low, so I have to look for a replacement. It is not the best replacement, but it's always something, and it's not occupied by biters, which is great. Quick copy and paste of existing smelting array, building everything, and new line of iron is running. Day 81. I want to start a production of very advanced blue circuits. It's a complicated recipe that requires a big quantity of red circuits and huge quantity of green circuits. I have all the materials, so let's start by building a production of stone tablets for green circuits. I will craft copper wires directly to green circuit assemblers, because it's a perfect ratio with a few productivity modules. It's also very easy to build. Next is a production of red circuits. So there are assemblers. Let's connect a plastic belts, and I also need to craft copper wires. In this case, it's actually fine to place them on the belts. To finish it, I just need a little bit of tweaking with belts and modules. Day 82. I can finally focus on blue circuits production. At this stage, building anything is like a programming. I'm just looking what I can copy and reuse. so I'll just copy my production of big electric motors. I want to use them because I already have fluid input. Then I will change a crafting recipe and connect all the belts. It's always good to build too much, so let's copy this and paste a few more assembling machines for the later use. At day 83 I realized that there are some bottlenecks going on with green circuits. This is why I have to rebuild a production of red circuits to make more space for belts. Currently I'm using only a half of red belts to move green circuits, and it's not enough. So I spent rest of this day fixing this with more spaghetti. Day 84. I want to upgrade my refinery to produce more construction bots. Everything of course starts at creation of a blueprint from an already existing structure. To make more space for my refinery, I will remove those old flamethrowers, because I have a better wall on top of my base and they are not necessary at this spot anymore. First, I want to increase production of petroleum gas, because it's disappearing faster than vodka on a Slavic wedding. Or you know what? I will place it more on the left to make more space for other buildings. There is always a lot of spaghetti going on with pipes, but it has to be done. I like to keep a minimum amount of light oil, so I'll make a circuit logic to power this pump only when I have more than 20,000 gallons of oil. With new location of light oil cracking, I can remove the previous one to make more space for robot frames production. So I spent the whole day 86 on building that robot frames production. Day 87. I'm going to make a production of batteries, because they are a main ingredient in the robot frame recipe. What's more, I can use those batteries to craft more accumulators. They're also very handy. I'm not very rich in resources, and in this case it's good to make a lot of productivity modules, which will increase my production. When Assemblers was making modules for me, I connected batteries belt with robot frames. The whole day 88 was literally me running through base and putting productivity modules everywhere. Day 89. I researched Meteor's defense system, so I think I can try it out. To make it works, I need to provide it with a special bullets, and it is the easiest to craft them on the spot. Range of this cannon is not too big, and I guess I will need to craft more of them to cover my whole base. And this is literally what I did. I crafted more of those cannons and placed them around my base. Day 90. I'm close to leaving this planet. I just need a few more yellow science packs and some rocket parts. Yeah, it might take me a few more days. Luckily, thanks to my awesome designs, it will probably take longer than I expect. However, it's a good thing that these science require low density structures, because they are also a part of the rocket, and I am ready crafting them. Day 91. Glass is one of the most important ingredients to make rocket parts, so I have to build a big production of it. To make glass, I simply need to smelt sand in the furnaces, then transport it to my base. First, I need to make sand, but it's not a very hard task with the amount of stone around. I will use pulverizers to crush rocks, because they give better yield than normal assembling machines. They seem to work extremely quick, so maybe I'll use only 4 of them. Everything is working great. Or wait, now everything is working great. I'm crushing rocks to make sand, and then I'm smelting it to glass. Awesome. Day 92. I have too much gallons of heavy oil, and it's a problem, because with blocked refinery I couldn't make fuel for my rocket, so I have to copy this heavy oil cracking design and place it here. I probably should also make it way bigger to serve me well until I leave this planet. I don't want to have my refinery stuck again, so I will put a simple logic here. This way I will only crack heavy oil when I am low on light oil. Otherwise, those machines will stay idle. Day 93. I research logistics system. That means less belt spaghetti and more bots madness. Since we have requested chests now, I don't need to keep those assemblers and hand feed them with resources, because my flying slaves should do it for me. First, requested chest will bring all science that somehow ended in the logistics system. I will also finally fully automate the production of roboports in my factory. Rest of the day I spent placing meteor point defenders to keep my base safe. With a requested chest for ammunition, it was easy to do. Day 94. With new requested chest, I can build a robot mall. This design will allow me to craft anything, because all required resources will be quickly delivered by bots to a requested chest. I spent the rest of this day just setting up the most important recipe to make escape from this planet quicker. Day 95. Everything is going great. Oh. Where am I? What is this? Day 96, I guess. I'm getting better after being hit by meteorite, but those dreams, it was weird. Luckily now I am on way to place more pump jacks, so we can produce enough amount of fuel and leave this planet as fast as possible. This amount of pump jacks should satisfy even the most patriotic Americans. With oil in the base I can design a production of fuel for the rocket. This should do the job. Day 97. Rocket silo is already crafted, I just need to place it and now I simply have to make a rocket. The best way would be to craft a tier 3 productivity modules, because thanks to them I will save on rocket parts. However, I don't have enough purple science for the research, so I have to make a quick crafting station for them. Now I don't have enough iron in a base to make the rocket, but I have an iron outpost nearby and this train will fix my lack of iron. Day 98. I'm still working on productivity modules tier 3, but in the meantime I can work on rocket control units. I will need them a lot. I just made 4 tier 3 productivity modules for the rocket silo. Now I can start building the rocket itself. I also built those furnaces to supply my base with more steel. It's a very important resource in the rocketry. For some reason rocket silo stopped working in the middle of crafting my escape rocket. But after long investigation I find out that beacons cause some electric interference and removing them helped. With this crafting speed, rocket should be ready in 2 days. Day 99. Rocket is almost done. I will definitely miss this place when I leave it. Day 100. Rocket is built and I can finally go back to Earth. The solar system is filled with tons of different planets to explore. But I'm going straight... No, something hit me. I'm going down! There is no way that another asteroid hit me. Wait, it wasn't asteroid. It was this stone. But how? I'm going to investigate this. There is something mysterious going on. Hello, Patrick here. If you are still watching, you deserve a reward in form of a base tour. Space exploration is a huge mod, and I only showed you the very beginning of it. But I hope you kind of enjoyed this different story-driven style of video, because it took me way too long to make all of this. So, if you want to support such projects, you can become a patron like Changy, Salty Ryan, Unsolved Rubik Cube, Kościański, and many others. However, just watching my videos is also a big way of supporting me. This is why I want to thank you for watching and I hope to see you around. Take care guys. I hate this language.